Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bees In with Brit. So I'm really excited about this episode. I can't even play it cool. Felicia Bender, the Practical Numerologist, is here. Her forecasts and the information that you get when you go to her website and you read about yourself and about your forecasts for the year and the month, it's mind blowing. Like you're gonna have your mind blown. So just please DM me and let me know how amazed you are, because I feel like for a very long time I've had no one to talk about numerology with. And now with Felicia, finally I had somebody to talk about and learn from about all these topics. And I'd love for you guys to join in and become a numerology geek with me. But before we get to that, let's do the tarot forecast for the week, because I think we just need to know what's coming down the pipe. And if you guys want to watch this on YouTube, the podcast episodes are always going to be up on YouTube 24 hours after the release on Tuesdays. So let's see what we have. Manifesting good vibes. What's the collective energy? The Knight of Wands. Okay, guys, I love a good Wands energy, and I'm not surprised that we have the Knight of Wands because Mars just entered into the sign of Leo, which is a fire sign. And Wands, the suit of Wands, is always associated with fire energy. And so, like Sagittarius, Leo, Aries, you guys are getting a huge, huge boost from Mars entering into your family. So, when Mars is in a fire sign, that just means that it's like all systems go. And Mercury's been in retrograde, so I think all of us have kind of downshifted in the past few weeks. And now the energy is going to pick back up. Thank you so much. Because Mars was in Cancer previously. Cancer is a watery energy. It's beautiful and loving and amazing, but it's more like you were probably doing more like home projects and working more on, family connections and maybe planning a family vacation, or you were just in a different headspace. Now that Mars is in Leo, there is a totally different energy available to you, especially if you're a fire sign, to move forward on your projects, on your passions. And that can be anything. That can be creatively, that can be business, that can be romantically. So you guys, this is the cosmic green light. Go for it this week and send me a DM. Let me know what you guys achieved and what you did with this energy. Okay, so let's get into the interview with Felicia Bender. She is amazing. I know you guys are going to love it, and I can't wait to hear about your life path number, your monthly forecast, your yearly forecast, and all of the other things that you guys learn once you dive into the world of numerology. Well, Felicia, thank you so much for joining us today to give us our cosmic forecast for this year and this month. It's so exciting to have you here. I'm a huge fan.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know that. So that's wonderful. You're a numerology geek. Okay.
Big time numerology geek. I have been reading your monthly forecast, honestly, as long as I can remember online.
Okay. That's a little scary, but okay. Thank you.
Is it? Oh, don't be scared.
No, I'm kidding.
It's so amazing. Oh, my camera went off. Let's see. Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Hey, no worries.
Let me see.
Mercury retrograde, darling.
You know what? It has been doing some things.
I know. You don't want to really talk about that all the time, but really,
you don't. But
sometimes you can't deny it.
It definitely has been hitting me in the technology and travel arena.
Oh, just breathe.
I am. Thank you. You're such a calming force, such a calming energy.
Good.
So, Felicia, will you tell everybody out there who is still learning about all of this what their numerology forecast is, and what a universal year is and a universal month, so they can understand how they can use this info?
Absolutely, because numerology, if you're out there and you do know what numerology is, you're odd. And that because most of us know what astrology is, right? Because we've had horoscopes in the newspaper and all of that for a long time, but not much about numerology. So numerology, basically, just to give people an idea, it's like, what is that, right? And some people are like, I don't like math, right? Just go away. I don't want math. And so it really isn't math. It is, it's an art and science of numbers. Basically, there are different kinds of numerology. The kind I use comes from Pythagoras. I don't know if you were paying attention to math class. I was not. The Pythagorean theorem, okay, of geometry, but the same guy. But basically, the idea is numbers carry with them not only a quantitative value, like you can count something, 1, 2, 3, 4, and yet the numbers 1 through 9 carry with them a vibratory influence, a frequency. They contain data. And it's kind of like, really, how does that work, right? And yet, as we get more into our technological world that we're in, everything's digitized. Everything is number code, right? So we can kind of suspend this disbelief around the idea that this actually can happen. So numerology, again, is a code. It's a language. And so it does, we believe that when numbers show up, they show up with information, right? And so with that said, in numerology, we can look at your name, your full name, and then your birth date. And we can devise a basic profile for you, a blueprint, a map, whatever. Also really clear about this. This is not, destiny. You have no choice. It's fated. This is basically a map. It's like which direction you're going. You can take any direction you want, or you can decide not to go there, right? I mean, just because you're in the car headed that direction doesn't mean that you don't veer off and go somewhere else. So that's I would kind of do that little disclaimer, because people get a little edgy about, is this, destiny sort of thing or fated? No, we all have free will. Yet the cool thing is,
makes sense. That makes so much sense. And I feel like if you are a skeptic or you're unsure, getting your numerology, you're reading, like finding out your destiny number, learning more about your personality. And really for me, it was like the the personal year and the personal month numbers that really sold me. And I was like, okay, this just makes so much sense. I mean, for example, 2020 was a universal 4 energy, which was so reflected in the way that we were all spending our time at home, for the foundational number. So I feel like once you experience it yourself, you're like, okay, wait, there's something to this. It's just so dead on.
I always say it's a little creepy in some ways.
It's a little creepy. It's so good.
Yeah, because I'm so fascinated by it, and it continues to fascinate me, and I'm simply the translator, right? So that's a really fun aspect to it. And yet to go to what you're saying is the universal year in numerology, it's you just take the year that we're in to this year, 2021, you just add it together. Very simple addition, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1, that equals 5. We're in a 5 universal year. It's kind of like the direct, and to understand what that means, well, what does that mean, universal year? It is an energetic influence, numerologically speaking, that all of us globally are engaged with. So it's kind of like knowing, this year, metaphorically, are we all in a collective road trip to Disneyland? Or are we going to a retreat in the Himalayas? Or, right? It's like, what direction? Where are we headed this year? And so this year is a 5. The 5 is, it's a roller coaster, right? We can feel this already.
That sounds, already, this is checking all the boxes. Yep.
It is. And so the 5 is the number in numerology of freedom. Overall, and it's the number of change, versatility. So it's very frenetic. It feels kind of edgy. It feels like we got to go, we got to do, we got to change it, we got to move things, right? And so
100%.
That's what this whole year is all about. So, and part of numerology is understanding, okay, what are the optimal elements here, right? What is it all about? And yet know that we're always going to be working with some of the challenge points there, maybe some of the opposition. So that's also really valuable to know, because I always find that we can kind of guess like, does it feel this way or not? And yet if we have some key words, some key themes, it really helps rein it in and help us focus on making the most out of all of it out of each year.
Totally. And I feel like if you know that this is going to be a cycle, right? And it's going to last for a certain amount of time, but then, things are going to change again. I feel like
Yes.
it keeps us from getting too stuck on, maybe some of the negative or the things that we're growing through right now.
Yes.
Like, it's always
Yes.
helped me to read my forecast and be like, okay, I can expect, it might be a little bit rocky in this area, but if I use the
Right.
time for these optimal, areas of growth where you have new opportunities. So in a 5-year, what do you think people could be focusing on right now to, really use this energy for their benefit?
Well, you're using the optimal word, which is focus.
Oh,
because
okay. All right.
because in the 5-year, it feels like there's so much coming at you, so many
Mm-hmm.
choices, so many things, so many things, so little time. So part of the 5 is freedom through self-discipline, the
Wow.
constructive use of freedom. So it's
Okay.
making, at this point of the year, for all of us, we're kind of doing the been there, done that, right? We're kind of
Mm-hmm.
going, oh, that won't work. Nah, maybe not. And now going, okay, now what holds some potential, some real
Mm-hmm.
potential? What can we really now focus on, claim, and then and move forward with, rather than all of the multitasking kind of energy, right? So it's,
Okay. So trying to
yeah,
find the focus in all of the freedom that's starting to come up, and it's been so
yes.
much change. Like, that really made a lot of sense when you said it's a frenetic energy, because, some people are able to get back to work and do certain
Right.
things. Some people aren't. It's like things are a little all over the place. And
Exactly.
and it's so interesting how also each month has a different vibration. So will
Yes.
you explain the month of June? Because we're all, we all just entered June, and this is a new energy. How can we
Mhm.
use this month collectively?
Well, this month overall, as a universal month, it's a pretty highly charged one. It is an
Okay.
11. That is a master number. That repeating double digit one. So the 11 is considered a master number. Also, just to kind of sidle it up with astrology, lots of eclipses this month and moving into this
Yes.
month. Mercury's
Hmm.
in retrograde. And so, believe it or not, you can feel it. I mean, everyone is a little
Oh,
bit
yeah.
like, okay, let's hold on to the railings, right?
Yes.
And
Yes. Things are very
see.
stop and go, and kind of like we don't really know what's going to come next.
Yes. So the
Hmm.
11 energy for June, overarchingly for all of us, is the 11 is the number of spiritual illumination. Not to put too
Wow.
fine a color on it. It really is here to allow you to, a very rudimentary description would be for the month: slow down, even though
Okay.
you'll feel like you need to do. So slow it
Hmm.
down a little bit, because it's time. What it's attempting to get us all to do is to open up to our intuitive voices, to
Okay.
those messages. A lot of times in this month, those of you out there, have you been seeing maybe repeating numbers? Have you been getting
Yes.
little glitches of insight that you
Hmm.
can't explain, or something like that? We have to be quiet enough. I think Steven Spielberg says it great. It's a great quote from him. He says, "Our intuition doesn't shout; it always
Hmm.
whispers."
Yes.
And so we have to
So,
be
yep.
quiet enough to hear it, right? And so it's
Hmm.
kind of quiet it down, and be open. But this is a great month for everyone to be open to changing course, getting
Hmm.
some lightning bolt ahas, right?
Yes.
To go with that. So
And what are,
a description.
yeah. And what do you think some of the challenges could be? And I don't know if you like to marry numerology with astrology. You mentioned the eclipses. I know you do that on with the Astro Twins. Love them.
Yes.
Love the podcast episodes you guys do together. But do you kind of interpret the eclipses and bring it in when you're thinking through the month's energy? And if so, how would you explain that?
Well, in some ways, I have to be very, very upfront. I know I love astrology, and I know just enough to be dangerous, is what I like to say.
Right. I love that. Yes. We get you. We know what you mean.
And what I mean by that is I know that, again, the brush stroke, and yet I go to my experts. I go to
Yes.
Tali and Ophi and my astro connection there to really get the down and dirty on it. So what I do, I have an awareness around it, but when I, for instance, write the forecast, the thing that you've been following for a while, I actually am working with the personal. So let's step back a little bit. So the personal year, the universal year, is that overarching energy that we all feel. And then there's a personal year cycle. This is a much more immediate energy that each of us individually feel. And so I call the personal year, it's like knowing the theme to your party. Seriously.
Oh, nice. I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to show up to the wrong party in the wrong outfit for an entire 12 months, right? You just don't.
Totally. Yes. We need to know the dress code.
We need to know the dress code and when to show up and all of those things. And so the beauty of it is this is an easy calculation as well. So you take your day, well, your month of birth. Can we do yours? Just your month?
Let's do it. Sure. So 9, I was born in September.
And your day.
On the 9th.
So 9/9 is what you're saying?
9/9.
Okay. So 9/9. We don't look at the birth year on this. You don't have to do your year. And so what we do is then replace the year of birth with the current year to find out what your personal year is going to be. So we would then we would take 9 plus 9, and we already talked about that 2021 is a 5. So we do 9 plus 9 plus 5. So that's 9 and 9 is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, right? In numerology, so you're like 23, what do I do with that? In numerology, we're always reducing to a 1-digit number. So if you add and you still have 2 digits, you just continue to add. So 2 plus 3 equals 5. So, darling, you're in a 5 personal year and a 5 and a 5 universal year. So you're doubling down on the, get me out here. And the beauty of that, though, is that the 5, and I think it really bears repeating that it's like, freedom. And yet, what does that really mean, right? Does it mean doing anything I want, however I want, whenever I want? It's kind of
think so.
No, right?
That's a good way to burn yourself out. And then I've noticed that then you become, beholden to things that if you go too hard, let's say you don't sleep and you're going out, you can get exhausted, then you lose your freedom. In that way, because you don't have that energy available to you. So I have definitely been exploring the idea of balance this year, 100%.
Good for you, because that's a real learning point, right? For the 5 is being able to, yes, have fun. It's a very sensuous time. It's a great time for travel, it's super sexy, all of this. Seriously, the 5, often people in a 5 personal year, they're like, what is it? Am I wearing like pheromones or something? Because people are coming on to me all the time. So it's kind of true, though. It does have that energetic influence there. And yet the freedom through self-discipline, it's like one of those things. It's like, if you want financial freedom, what do you have to do? You have to find a way to get the income, decide on an occupation you've got to show up, you've got to do it, you've got to save, if ultimately you want financial freedom, you have to do what it takes to create that. Yes. And that, right? And so, right. So that's where the freedom through the discipline comes in, because a lot of times people are like, well, what do you mean freedom through? That doesn't make sense. And if you want, physical freedom, you can't just eat whatever you want, not exercise, and just indulge yourself. You have to have some freedom, so you're creating freedom with that discipline or with that routine. So I
feel like the lessons are building on the 4 energy, because I feel like the 4 was it was like I was training, and like having to be super disciplined. And then this year, a lot of things have opened up, but I'm using the discipline from last year. Now there's just more opportunity to reap the benefits and enjoy it. So it's been really interesting.
You've already become a numerology expert. I'll just move aside and let you
I'm
come
telling
in.
you, I love it. You have no idea how much I go to your website. Like
No,
every
but
month, I'm like, okay.
I
time to
mean
check
that
Bender.
though, because that is the way that this tool can really inform us and empower us, because there's no hard start and hard stop with this. It's like threads to a tapestry. And so you're exactly right. In a 4-year, you're meant to be getting a little serious about about what you're doing. Get a longer range plan, get a longer range goal going on. Start setting up the systems that are going to take this into the next stage. So there you are, you're training, and then the 5 is like, now you have that foundation, you have this boundless platform for freedom. Right? This very solid state. So you're exactly right with the numbers. They all move into each other and inform each other in that way. So if you're looking to see what your month brings you, so if we get back to that personal year, so each personal year, knowing that theme to your party, and we just did the calculation. So if you're there, so the one personal year is new starts, because the personal year cycle is a 9-year cycle. So we believe that we go through these 9-year cycles, birth to death, throughout our lives. So the thing about it is again, it opens these doors and also shows you how to be most successful, and then also what to work with, what the challenges might be. So that one personal year, new starts, new beginnings, independence, it's an open door. You are really going out of the chute and starting a brand new cycle. You have to be really mindful about what seeds you're planting in that one. The 2 personal year is more of a rest period. It's more focused on love and relationships, on getting your emotional acuity going. For business, it's really great for networking, that sort of thing. The 3-year, self-improvement, communication, emotional renovation, so to speak.
It's 4, so fun. I love 3 energy.
It is fun, and yet the caveat for the 3 is that you get to get up close and personal with maybe some emotions that you've been wanting to avoid, or being put in situations where you have to speak your truth, where you have to really communicate more clearly and more directly and more authentically. And some people are like, no, I'd rather die than do that, right?
Right. So like, that's a lot. So to go in there?
The 3 personal year, not so much, so it depends on where we all are. And it's going to be different depending on what age we are, where we are in our lives. So we have these repeating patterns, and yet it's going to take on a different flavor and a different value depending on where we are in our life. So that 4, foundations, family stuff. 5 is freedom, travel, sex, all those wonderful things. The 6th year, family, responsibility, home. The 7 is more spiritually introspective, kind of a resting period, a planning, organized learning time. 8 is the beginning of a 3-year, what I call a push time transition cycle. The 8 is money, power, empowerment, and it's a pretty endurance laden year. The 9 is endings, conclusions, wrapping things up and letting things go so that you'll be ready for the new chapter in the 1.
It's just so beautiful how all of the energies and vibrations flow and teach you different lessons. And like, I feel like once you're tuned in, I love that you said it's empowering, because it really is. Like, you could just get such a sense of comfort and focus. It's a great way to like set up your goals and to learn more about yourself and really use the energy and become more aware of just like your life and how you're moving through it.
Absolutely.
Versus just kind of being like, wait, what? Why is this happening right now?
Why is this all so random, right? And,
right.
Because it really isn't. And as soon as we can really understand that, and I love what you said at the beginning also about understanding that this too shall pass, right? And because it is that whole concept of everything, the good and the bad and everything in between is temporary. Right? I mean, that's one of the
100%
higher concepts, the simplicity of those truths is pretty profound, actually. It's like, oh yeah, everything is all temporary. And yet how do we really carpe diem, right? How do we really make the best out of it? And
Right.
I love that also because just like in astrology, you have your astrological sun sign, we have a life path number. So when you really, and other aspects of our chart, so you can really, it's this great strengths finder. It's a purpose profile compass. So you can go, oh, this is really what I'm all about. And I've attempted, and so it's again coming up with those key concepts, key words, key themes, and those those challenge points, those stumbling blocks, and being able to identify those and go, oh, this isn't just a passing thing. This is something that's really what my life is all about. And so you can really kind of, it's very empowering. I find, to be able to name it.
I agree.
You can do something. Yeah.
100%. Is finding your life path number as easy as finding your personal year or personal month?
It actually is. I mean, do you mind giving your year?
Oh, I don't mind at all.
Okay.
So 19. Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead. Sorry, I'm just going to write it down because we have to. It's like being a carpenter. You have to measure twice, cut once, right? So it's the same with numerology.
Oh, I hear
you have to add more than once to make sure, because if you're off, you're off. So it's 9/9, and then your year
9/9, 1986.
Okay, so just like we did with the personal year, 9 and 9, you make it easy because you have one digits, and yet just to so you understand, if you're born on the 25th, you take 2 plus 5, and that equals 7, and you use 7. If you're born in December, 2 plus 1, that equals 3. So just to understand how to do the math. So if we get 9 and 9, and then we look at 1986, we're going to add 1986. So 9 is 10, plus 8 is 18, plus 6, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So that is a 6. So then we do 9 plus 9 equals what? 18, right? Okay. Plus 6, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And then 2 plus 4 equals 6. So you nurturing little soul, you're a
true.
Yes, and you have a 9.
It's very true.
And you have a 9 birthday, which is that that kind of creative, that charismatic, that humanitarian based. When you are in your groove, you are doing something to serve the greater good. And here you are, right?
So true, so true. And it's so funny because the studio that I film in is a 9 energy, the house number. I mean, so
it couldn't be more perfect.
It couldn't be more perfect. And that's why I want to challenge all of our viewers and listeners to, go to your website, calculate not only your, personal year, month, but also get into some of these courses and programs, and people can get their own life path number. Will you you would be better to tell people, how can they learn more about all of the different things that they need to know?
Well, for numerology curious people, the best thing to do is just get your chart done. It gives you an idea of your life path number, how it all comes together, right? Because with you're that 6, you're that nurturing. It's the nurturing, the visionary, very home duty, relationships, family, and then you can find out what those, and what the bonus points are for that, and then what the challenge points are, that you get. Yes. That's I find with clients, they're like, oh, don't tell me what it's all about. What I want to know is where my problems are. So, right. It's really powerful though. So, and then if you go to my website, which is FeliciaBender.com, life path information there. There are courses, so online courses where you could just get a little bit more of a deep dive about how to use numerology, how to understand the life path, but how to use it for your relationships, how to understand it there for relationship compatibility, for business and career. What would, a lot of people are like, what would I be good at? What is, and oftentimes you can really narrow it down by going, and we always understand it by the way it feels. We're like, yeah, that actually feels right. So sometimes we just need that permission slip, or
Yes.
something that goes with that.
Mm-hmm.
So repeating numbers, a lot of people come to me because they see repeating numbers. They want to know what that is, and that does carry with it some messaging. So there are a lot of avenues that you can pursue to just use this as a tool.
100%. And it's so helpful. So I have to ask you, I have been seeing 444 a lot just in the past few days. What do you think that means? I know you know.
444, I do know. And it's making me laugh because of our, we don't know each other. And I'm just having this conversation with you is the first time we've spoken. And you're talking about the 4, and the thing you chose to talk about was your 4 personal year, or the 4 universal year last year, and your 4 personal year, and how you were training and doing all of this. And so now you're getting this repeating pattern of 444. When that shows up, it's your guide, it's your messages saying that what you are working at is coming to fruition. Don't stop now.
Oh my gosh. And that is so helpful, and it feels so right.
Yes,
that is exactly what I needed to hear.
It's often when you're feeling like, oh gosh, is this worth it? I'm working so hard. I can't see the end in sight. I'm just not sure. And so often that's when that comes in. The 4 is work and foundations. All the work you've been putting into it will pay off. Keep at it. Keep working at it. Especially since you've been training, it's like do the last mile of the marathon. Just when you want to drop out.
Yes.
Yeah. Go there.
That's what it feels like now. I mean, that is,
don't drop out.
And oh my gosh. See, and that's why, another example of why it's so helpful, because that is exactly the message that I need to be like, okay, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to lean in a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then before you go, I have to know, so with the 6 life path, right? That's the life path.
Yes.
What do you think I should focus on, and what do you think I should be careful of?
So the 6, well, I've got your 9. I would love to know the rest of your numbers. We'll have to do that later. So
we'll have to have you back. We have to have you back.
So the 6, though, is you are overall, and the life path is, to me, it is your overarching life's purpose. It's what you kind of checked in to do and learn this time. It's as though you were on the other side going, hey, this one looks good. I haven't done this course yet, right? So, so the 6, even if you look at the 6, it looks like a little pregnant belly, right?
Yeah.
The 6 is the cosmic parent. The 6 is a very interesting energy because very magnetic, very justice oriented, very much into aesthetics, aesthetic beauty. And also into, again, family relationships are often very important, whether that shows up traditionally. A lot of 6s don't get married, don't do the kids, but they will nurture, they will be that nurturing, responsible party in their business, in their, whatever that is.
Always. Almost to my detriment, though. And so I try to fight it. But maybe I'm not supposed to. Maybe, I don't know.
Here's the thing.
Embrace it?
Okay, so the thing about the what you're working with is, and I always say this lovingly, the 6 is the biggest control freak who ever lived.
Me? No, never. Yes, so true.
So controlling, and that's because people, you already have this added sense of responsibility. It's just and yet it's that teetering point between enabling other people and being so hyper responsible that you carry it all for everybody else, and then you're like, why the heck isn't anybody else pulling their weight? It's like because you've trained them not to.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So I have to probably learn, I'm probably working with boundaries and, how to, let me get my camera real fast. There we go. So I'm probably working with boundaries, I guess, and that checks out. I'm definitely the nurturer in my family, even to my own parents. When I work with someone in business, I want to just I think of how how can I help them? And then I can just like wear myself out. I mean, and then I
Yes.
become resentful, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I did it to myself. It's totally, it checks
Yeah,
out with everything you're saying.
yes. So the control and the perfectionism. So that's the
Yes, yes.
thing. The 6 is the idealist. Again, you can see solutions where other people can't even see problems. And it takes the 6 a long time to realize how high their bar is, right? Mostly
Yes.
for yourself. And then it goes into other people and your expectations for their performance. So honestly, for the 6, the biggest lifelong lesson that can be learned is to accept the perfection of the imperfection of everyone and everything, truly, and to be able to offer your support, offer that sort of thing, and then let it go. And not have, right? The problem
is so
is
nice. It's like going to make me emotional. Because that feels so true. And that's such a beautiful thing to be able to do. More important than trying to control or like do it for people.
Yeah.
Is to just love them and let them learn and grow.
And that's the
hard myself
part,
too.
Right. But the hard part is you can see where they're going to go off that cliff, right? You can see where they're going to fall. And yet to have that understanding that experience isn't just the best teacher, it is the only teacher, that no one learns anything without actually going through the experience themselves. So for you to be a container of kind of that unconditional love and yet have those strong boundaries when people use and abuse you in terms of emotionally, you have to set those boundaries. So it sounds so easy, doesn't it? It's not. It's really not.
It's not, but I feel like you saying it like that, it just helps me to kind of take all of these feelings and experiences that are just kind of, floating in the ether and in the back of my mind, and just kind of put it right in front to where I can become more mindful and feel more powerful around my ability to actually deal with it. And when these things happen, I'm not like, oh no, why did this happen? And
super stressed. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It can help. Like, okay, did it again. This is me being a 6. I need to just,
and 6,
I know what I need to do.
Yeah. And 6s also sometimes stop themselves from really going for something because they need everything to be absolutely perfect before they do.
Guilty. Yes.
So start before you're ready. Start before you're ready, and it'll all fall into place. That's what I always tell a 6, because they're like, oh, I've been planning this for 6 years, and I still don't have that one thing right. You're like, oh my gosh, just go. So just do it. Yeah.
Just do it. Okay. Like Nike, I'm just going to do it.
Yep. Exactly.
I like that.
Exactly.
And then if once you know that number, will that kind of come into play with your, like, are you more compatible then with certain numbers, like as far as like your personal year or personal month? Like, are even numbers more like compatible with each other? I don't know. Is that a thing?
It is a thing. The interesting thing that I always love to say, though, because everyone always wants that, right? Which signs in astrology are compatible or not? I am of the mind that every sign and every number has compatibility. You can't. Nothing is a dead no or a dead yes, because it all, first of all, depends on how developed and in alignment we are with our own pathway, right? And then second of all, sometimes people are put in our paths to reflect back, to trigger us, to teach us, to allow us opportunities to grow. Yet with that said, there are number combinations that are much more in simpatico than others. And just like you're saying, like that, say for instance, the 3, the 6, and the 9 are all highly creative numbers. Often it's one of those beautiful things where metaphorically, and sometimes really, you're at a party or something, and you gravitate toward different people and different groups. At the end of the night, you have these little pods of people, right, who are all, and it would be really fun to go and then stop everyone and say, okay, let's do everyone's life path, because 3, 6s, and 9s would probably be all together because they get each other, right? They just get each other, and that sort of thing. We could go through all of it, but it's just a tangled web. But yes, we can get some really good ideas about, our X, or why this, or even the compatibility. I work with a lot of couples where it's like, do you understand this about yourself, and where the disconnect is, where you don't understand this, and then you put it on the table, and you go, oh, honey, I didn't realize you took things that way, or I didn't realize that was the most important thing to you. And so it's really kind of cosmic therapy in many ways to really just put it out there like that, and to be able to understand.
More fun.
Oh, much more fun.
And it's a fun way to do it. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like once you know different things about your partner, and like you can be honest about different things about yourself, and it's a fun way to just learn, you can accept those things, right?
Yes.
And it's not just, again, just like floating in the ether where you're just like, they're so annoying. But once you know, okay, this is just who they are. These are their lessons. These are my lessons. I feel like you can get on the same page.
Exactly. I think it's really the way I look at it. It validates a lot of things about each of us. And yet it also gives you a point to where oftentimes it's us, in the relationship, where we can go, maybe I could move that needle a little bit, right? And so it gives us self-awareness around where maybe we have some sticking points that need to be, I don't know, looked at or worked with.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm the one being controlling. Oops. Like,
oops. Sorry.
Whoopsies was my standard. Yeah. I'm going crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So much fun. That's so much fun though. Well, Felicia, I appreciate you coming on the TV show and the podcast so much. I know you're so busy, and I just appreciate your time. You're so fascinating. I could talk to you for hours. So I will have to invite you back sometime. Please come back and tell us more.
It's just great fun. It is fun. And
it is so much fun.
If it isn't fun, what's the point, right? We're all here to learn, to grow, and to really, I think it's less even about learning lessons, because that always sounds so punitive, right? Oh, you're going to learn your lesson. It does. It's more about we're already fully there. It's all there. It's just what we are doing now is chipping away all the gook that's covering it up, right? We're like, you got to get rid of that, so that actually we can just be that, reveal that to ourselves. And I think like that's
the permission slip, the clarity, the permission slip that it gives you. It's like you can not waste all the time that you would kind of trying to figure it out. Instead, you're like, okay, this is who I'm meant to be. This is where I can shine. I'm just going to be it. I'm just going to step into it.
I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to align with that, because when we get off, we know it. We're like, ugh, this doesn't feel good.
We can feel it. I have to know before you go, what's your life path number, Felicia?
I'm a 3.
I knew it. I was just going to say, you've got to be a 3, because I like your energy so much. I love 3s, 6s, 9s,
Well, we all have our issues. So just so you know, out there, all the numbers, you're like, there's no favorite number. They're all, we've all got our shining moments and then our little dark corners. So,
Yes, true. Well, Felicia, thank you so much. Have an amazing rest of your day. And
you too.
I can't wait to check in with you again in the future.
I'd love to. It's been wonderful to meet you. Thank you.
You as well. Okay, awesome. All right, let me stop our little broadcast. Let's see. Okay, Felicia, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. What a lovely thing. And email me if you ever want your whole, if you ever want a reading or something, just let me know. I'd be happy to do that for you. So
I would love that. Thank you. Yeah. And I'll be sure to send you the clips from like the episode and the podcast link and all the good stuff.
Great.
So you can hear and watch it and use the clips if you want to in any way. So thank you.
Of course. That'd be great. Thanks for reaching out. It was really fun. These are fun.
It was really fun.
Okay.
I love it. I'm obsessed.
Good. All right. We'll talk more later. Okay.
Sounds good.
Bye.
I didn't know how to end it. The broadcast. Wait. End the broadcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Bees In with Brit. I am so honored to have you here. Please subscribe on all of the podcast platforms so that you guys get alerts and you can be there for every new episode. I would love to keep having you guys come back. And if you like the visual medium, you can subscribe on YouTube at BZN TV because we will be putting up every podcast episode on YouTube 24 hours after it premieres on Tuesdays. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Have an amazing week. And don't forget to use that King or that Knight of Wands energy for your benefit. Talk to you soon.